Okay, today we are looking at what I've called God matches with the largest army. And of course, it started with the song. Jehovah Mudum, Jehovah Mudum, Dum, Dum, Jehovah Mudum, Jehovah Mudum, Dum, Dum. It's an Ibibio song that is just saying, God of hosts, have mercy on me. Of course, if you look at the saying, of course, it's been debunked that Napoleon actually made the saying that God matches side by side with the largest army or the largest battalion. But it's just a lot of arrogance because the idea being that if you could marshal a very large force, then it will be possible for you to overrun a smaller army. So God has no choice basically than to march side by side with that big battalion. But all through history, we know that that has not always been, that you have a large battalion has not always been a guarantee of victory because you can have a smaller force that is more tactical and then they are still able to win the war. But basically, war has evolved. I mean, a lot of primitive weapons. You see a lot of that in biblical days. You see this account in 1 Samuel 13, verse 19. Now there was no blacksmith to be found throughout all the land of Israel. But the Philistines said, let the Hebrews make swords or spears. But all the Israelites would go down to the Philistines to sharpen each man's plowshare, his mattock, his axe, and his sickle. Very primitive weapons of war compared to what we have now. You know, in fact, if you look at the Iraqi campaign when the Americans were talking about shock and awe, Saddam was waiting for the troops to invade, knowing fully well that he'll be able to handle the U.S. invasion. But what the U.S. did was to use, air power and basically flatten, you know, uh, Iraqi infrastructure, so that by the time the army will march in, it will just be a walk in the park. So basically, war has evolved beyond just having a large army and using, primitive weaponry. In fact, now you have smart weapons, you have very smart weapons, smart bombs, you have drones that can actually deliver directly to the person that it is intended for and minimize, you know, uh, the level of casualty because it's only the intended target, that the bomb will be delivered to. So actually, there are smart bombs with your name on it. But let's bear this in mind. No matter how much war has evolved, no matter how sophisticated the weaponry is, it's very clear from scripture that God Himself is a man of war. You see that in Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, and lots of other scriptures. So you only need the Lord for you to win battles. You know, Psalm 24, verse 8, who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Exodus 14, verse 14, the Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. Isaiah 42, verse 13, the Lord goes forth like a mighty one. He stirs up his zeal like a warrior. He shouts, yes. He roars in triumph over his enemies. So you can have physical battle that you're fighting. Someone is on your case, make it a prayer point. It can be spiritual. Maybe whenever you want to sleep, you have all kinds of things beginning to happen. Bad dreams, people pressing you down. Fix them with prayer. Because our God is a God of war. Intrigues, backstabbing in your place of work. In whatever it is that you do, you always have people that are raised by the enemy, raised by the devil to cause problems. You, uh, deploy prayer so that God can fight on your behalf. God doesn't march side by side with the largest army. God marches side by side his children.